Okay, so step number one before we do anything at all with this business is to create dedicated Firefox profiles. Okay, and so you can see all over my desktop I have unique Firefox profiles specific to different cities, and so I'm going to talk in another video more about what kind of activity is permitted to take place within these Firefox profiles. But for this video, I'm just going to show you how to properly create a Firefox profile. So we're going to come up here to the default Mozilla Firefox icon, right-click, Properties, and then in the Target section, we're going to go to the very end, make a space, dash, lowercase p, apply, OK. We're going to double-click, and we're going to create a profile. So this profile is going to be San Antonio. And I did it this way, all one word, because as I was trying to make this video, I kept running into an issue in a few more steps that I'll show you what I mean. So just for now, trust me in that if you have 2 words for a city, just make it all one word. So everything else on every other profile that I have is all one word, so I didn't encounter this issue until today. But again, trust me, one word. So we're going to click Finish, and we're going to start Firefox, just to ensure that it's a newly installed, fresh profile. Okay, so that's obviously new. Just going to close that. So we're going to come over here and we're going to create a shortcut, and we're going to keep the same name across this process. So again, San Antonio, all one word. Okay, so now what we're going to do is right click and go to Properties for this one. And in the Target section, we already have the space dash lowercase p, so we're going to do another space and the exact name of our profile, and then space dash no dash remote, apply, OK. Okay, so we have our new San Antonio Firefox profile created, and we're going to come back over here to the default, double click on that, and we're going to select default and start Firefox to make sure that the default is linked only to the default. So there we go. Those are my default settings. And now we're going to go back, right-click, Properties, and then we're going to remove the P, the dash, and the space. Apply. OK. So now what we're going to do is we're going to continue setting up our profile. And I'm going to have these links in the text version of this training. So you'll be able to access those. And the first thing we're going to do is we're going to install Foxy Proxy. Now, most of the plugins that you're going to be using throughout the training do not require a restart, but Foxy Proxy does. So just click Restart Now. Okay, so we can see the Foxy Proxy icon right here, and clearly it's not set up. So we're going to click on that, and we're going to add a new proxy. So what you want to do is you want to make absolutely certain that your IP address is in sync with the Firefox profile. So this is a San Antonio, Texas profile. So I need to ensure that I have the San Antonio IP address. So we're going to come over here, and you're going to have access to this sort of spreadsheet that has that holds the key to all of the information that that we use for this business. So, oh my goodness. We're going to come down here. So this is San Antonio, and I'm going to pull up the IP address and input it in here. And for the port, you'll likely be using anonymous proxies for all of the United States IP addresses, and you'll see in the dashboard for anonymous proxies that there will be 2 ports. But when you're inputting the information for Foxy Proxy, the port that they want is the passport. So I've already taken all this information and organized it. And so now, oops. And now I need the username and password. Click OK. So this new IP is highlighted. We're going to come up here and use this IP for all URLs. Okay, so it's already saved in here. We're going to click Close, and you can see that Foxy Proxy is now blue and live. So now what we want to do, task number 2, is, again, you'll be able to, this link will be available in the training. So we're going to download WebRTC control. And I just hit my elbow. So we're going to add to Firefox and install. Okay, it's been installed successfully. Okay, so next we're going to come over here and go to Add-ons and go to Plugins. So this has changed since I was trained on how to do this, and so I learned that things like Shockwave, Adobe, Java all needs to be set to never activate, but the options have changed. So what I've done now, and I've not run into any issues, is I set all of these plugins to never activate. And as I said, I've not run into any issues doing so, and I think it just simplifies the process. So, oops. So, we're going to come through here and just set absolutely all of them to never activate. Okay, so just want to make sure they're all set to never activate. Okay, perfect. Next, we're going to come back over here to Options and go down to Privacy. Okay, another really important aspect of what we're doing. This is all of these steps are absolutely essential to ensuring that each profile shows shows activity from a specific locale. So we're going to request that sites not track you, unclick tracking protection. Firefox will use custom settings for history. We're going to uncheck these, accept cookies from sites always, but keep until I close Firefox. And then we're going to clear history when Firefox closes. And then these down here at the location bar are fine the way they are. So I'm going to leave this open, and I'm going to come over here and I'm going to type in hooer.net. Okay, and I'm going to come right back to this, but what I want to do is come over here to general, I think this is obnoxious, so I uncheck that, and then homepage we're going to set to Whoer. Okay, and the reason that we're going to do this is because with this site set as the homepage, it ensures that we can ensure that we are operating totally anonymously before we do any kind of activity whatsoever on these profiles. Okay, so what we're going to do is I have my anonymity at 100%, and that's what needs to happen at all times. So one of the things, if you've after following all the steps that we just went through, you can ensure that you'll be 70% anonymous. And the last step with that is making sure that your time zone is in correlation to whichever city that you're operating out of for your Firefox profile. So this is a San Antonio IP address, and San Antonio operates in the central time zone in the US. So I already have most of my Firefox profiles are in central time, so I kind of just keep my laptop on this time. But for example, I have a couple properties in a Detroit Firefox profile. So before I would open this Firefox profile, I would make sure that I changed my time zone to Eastern Standard Time for the US. Okay, and I'm not going to do that now because I have this profile open. So again, before we do any activity whatsoever on these profiles, we need to make sure that we have the 100% anonymous go ahead. Okay, so what we're going to do is we're just going to come down here. We want to make sure that everything after DNS is set to no, and that we have a we set this profile up as San Antonio. This is confirming the fact that we are located in San Antonio right now. Okay, and the extended version that I'm going to ask that you screenshot and send to me after every Firefox profile creation, it's going to include all this. So we have all of this information down here. Okay, so another thing that I want to do, so another tool, just to make super certain that we are all set up and ready to go, is, again, the link will be provided to you, is doing a browser leaks check. And you don't have to do this every single time. Definitely this needs to be checked when you first created the Firefox profile, and so we have to have a false reading right here for WebRTC. So this is good. I always make a habit of just saving these sort of things, so that if I down the road end up having an issue, or I just want to double check and make sure that we're still operating securely, I can just access the bookmark right there. Okay, so I think the last thing that we're going to do is, where's my IP? So what's my IP address? So this is another site that I bookmark just so that I can double check every once in a while, certainly when we've just created a profile. And this reminds me, so I prefer the Google search engine. So as that's loading, I'm going to go over here to Options and Search and change it to Google, because that's my preference. And I'm not sure why this isn't loading quickly. Anyway, again, I'm just going to save it to my bookmarks to have access to it down the line if I so choose. And I'm not going to wait for this to load. I'm not sure why it's taking so So